What if I told you that every time you quit, you're only about 40% done? That the feeling of being utterly exhausted is a lie your brain tells you to stay safe? A former Navy SEAL, a man considered one of the toughest on the planet, lives by a simple rule that exposes this lie, and it will fundamentally change how you see your own limits forever. You know the feeling. You're deep into a workout, buried in a project, or just trying to get through a tough day, and every fibre of your being screams, stop. Your muscles ache, your head pounds, and that little voice starts whispering, you've done enough, you're tired, just quit. That voice doesn't just feel like a thought, it feels like a physical wall, and when we hit it, most of us stop. We put the weights down, close the laptop, and listen to that voice because it sounds like self-preservation. It tells us we've hit our absolute limit. But what if that wall isn't a stop sign? What if it's just a mile marker? That feeling is a universal human experience, an ancient survival instinct that has kept us from harm for thousands of years. But in the modern world, that same instinct can become a cage. It keeps our lives comfortable, predictable, and stagnant. The best parts of our lives are waiting on the other side of that wall. But first, we have to be willing to question if the wall is even real. This brings us to Jesse Itzler. By all accounts, Jesse was crushing it. He was a successful entrepreneur who had built and sold companies like Marquis Jet. He was married to Sarah Blakely, the billionaire founder of Spanx, and he was even a part owner of the NBA's Atlanta Hawks. He had a life of success and comfort, and that was the problem: comfort. Despite all his success, Jesse felt like he was in a rut. His days were predictable, his workouts were the same. He was living on autopilot, and he realised his comfortable life was keeping him from ever truly testing his limits. So Jesse did something crazy. He wanted to inject some serious intensity and chaos into his life to force himself to grow. He decided to hire a Navy SEAL to live with him and his family for 31 days. And not just any SEAL. At a 100-mile ultramarathon, where Jesse was part of a 6-person relay team, he saw a man running the entire race alone. That man was David Goggins. Goggins was, in Jesse's words, the embodiment of mental toughness, and Jesse knew this was the guy to break him out of his routine. The deal was simple. For 1 month, Jesse had to do everything the SEAL said. To be clear, David Goggins is not a normal human. He is the only member of the US Armed Forces to have completed SEAL training, US Army Ranger School, and Air Force Tactical Air Controller training. He has competed in over 60 ultramarathons and once held the Guinness World Record for the most pull-ups done in 17 hours, 4,030. Goggins is a man who actively seeks out suffering as a tool for growth. His motto is simple: if it doesn't suck, we don't do it. When Goggins arrived at Jesse's ritzy New York apartment, it was the ultimate clash of worlds: comfort versus discipline. The experiment began immediately, not with a plan, but with a brutal test. Goggins took Jesse to his home gym and pointed at the pull-up bar. First, he wanted to see what Jesse was made of. Jesse, feeling pretty confident, hopped up and banged out about 8 pull-ups. "All right, what's next?" he asked. Goggins just stared at him. "Wait 30 seconds, do it again." Jesse got back on the bar and squeezed out 6 more. After another 30-second break, Goggins gave the same order. This time, Jesse barely managed 3. His arms were on fire and he dropped from the bar, totally spent. "All right, I'm toast," Jesse said. He was done. But Goggins didn't budge. He just looked at Jesse and said something that would change his life. "We're not leaving until you do 100 more. Jesse couldn't believe it. It was impossible. He had nothing left. He tried to explain that he was physically incapable of doing even 1 more, let alone 100. Goggins just told him that the only thing stopping him was his own mind. What came next was a masterclass in breaking false limits. Goggins had him wait, then try for just 1 more rep, then wait again and try for another. Jesse chipped away at the impossible number. Hours passed, but eventually he did it. He completed the 100th pull-up and proved that what he thought was his limit was just the beginning. In that moment of exhausted victory, Goggins explained the 40% rule. When your mind is screaming that you're done, that you have nothing left to give, you're really only at 40% of your true capacity. Think about that. That moment you feel like quitting isn't your limit. It's a false ceiling created by your brain. You still have 60% left in the tank. Now, is that 40% figure a hard, scientifically proven number? Not exactly. It's more of a mental model. But the principle behind it is rock solid and supported by research. Your brain is wired for survival. It acts like a governor on an engine, creating feelings of pain and fatigue to protect you long before you're in real danger. The 40% rule is the understanding that this protective buffer is massive. Elite performers like Navy SEALs have learned to talk back to that voice, acknowledge it, and then push past it. That's where the other 60% is waiting. Don't just click away after this. Subscribe to The Wake Up Room and keep exploring. Every video here is designed to shake you out of autopilot, challenge the limits your mind sets, and push you toward the version of yourself you know you could be. The best part is the 40% rule isn't just for Navy SEALs, it's for all of us. It applies to the student who can't study another minute, the artist staring at a blank canvas, or anyone trying to stick with a new habit. So how do you use it? You don't need a SEAL yelling at you. It starts small. First, call it out. The next time you feel that overwhelming urge to quit, don't just obey it. Recognize it for what it is. Just say to yourself, oh, there it is, the 40% wall. This isn't my real limit. Simply reframing the feeling changes its power over you. Second, get granular. 100 more pull-ups felt impossible to Jesse, but the real instruction wasn't do 100, it was do one more. When your mind screams stop, don't think about the finish line. Just focus on the next tiny step. Read one more page, write one more sentence, run to the next lamppost. Make the next task so small, it's impossible to say no to, and then do it again. Third, collect proof. Every time you push past that 40% wall, you are gathering evidence that your perceived limits are a sham. This builds a powerful feedback loop. The next time you hit that wall, you'll have the memory of the last time you broke through it. You'll have proof that you are more capable than your feelings suggest. This is how you slowly and permanently expand what you're capable of. Your mind's first stop sign is not the end of the road, it's the starting line for real growth. The 40% rule teaches us that most of us are leaving a huge amount of our potential untouched, locked behind a mental barrier that we hold the key to. We all have another 60% of effort, creativity, and grit waiting for us. It's in that space beyond the 40% mark that you discover who you really are and what you're truly made of. It's not about being fearless or never feeling tired. It's about feeling the urge to quit, looking it right in the eye, and taking one more step anyway. The next time your mind tells you that you're done, ask yourself, am I really finished, or am I just at 40%? Let me know in the comments what challenge you're going to apply this rule to. I want to hear about the walls you're planning on running through this week.